In this video, we'll take a quick look at all the screen elements in Microsoft Excel 2010. What I'm referring to are the things that you see on the screen when you open a Microsoft Excel workbook. Okay, so what are the different things that you see on your screen? Those are the screen elements. So right at the top here, you have Book 1 Microsoft Excel written. So that is known as your title bar. It shows you the name of the workbook that is currently open. So right now I haven't saved this file and given it a different name. So by default, it names it as Book 1. Next to the title bar, here we have some buttons here for saving, for undoing, redo, and to create a new document. Okay, so this is known as your quick access toolbar, which has buttons which you can use to quickly perform commonly used functions in a single step. It can also be customized and you can add more options to the quick access toolbar like open, email, print, etc. So below the quick access toolbar, you have a file tab that is in green here. So if you left click on the file tab, it takes you to the backstage view where you have options to save the file, where you have options to print, okay, and other options such as permissions where you can add passwords to protect your file. Now let's go back. Now next to the file tab, okay, this entire area that you see here, okay, this is known as the ribbon. Now the ribbon has two parts. It has tabs, okay, these are your tabs, and then it has your groups like these: clipboard, font, alignment, number, styles, etc. So under each tab you have different groups, okay, and the groups have functions which are closely related. Okay, so like under the home tab here I have the font group. Now inside the font group you have options to change the font style, the font size, okay, making them bold, italics, underlining them, color of the box or color of the font, etc. So you have everything related to font here. Next to it you have the alignment tab where you have everything related to alignment, where you can make the text or the data left aligned, right aligned, or in the center, etc. Inside the insert tab I have the illustrations group where I can click on a function and I can insert pictures, or I can insert clip art, or I can insert different shapes in the workbook. Next to it I have the charts group, which allows me to create different types of charts, so like a line chart, a pie chart, bar chart, etc. So the ribbon has two parts: the tabs and then the groups. Okay, under each tab you have a group which have related functions inside them. Now under the ribbon you see two things here. This is the name box and this is the formula bar. Now the name box, it just displays the cell address of the current or active cell. Okay, so like my cursor or the cell pointer is at E6 right now, so that's why it is displaying E6 here. Okay, now if I have something entered here, that will be displayed in the formula bar. All right, now below the formula bar, this is the actual worksheet where you'll be working, which is made up of rows and columns as discussed in the previous video. Okay, now let's go to the bottom. Okay, here I have the sheet tab, so which has sheets 1, 2 and 3. By default, when I open a new Excel workbook, there will be 3 sheets which are named sheet 1, sheet 2 and sheet 3 by default. Okay, you can, next to it you have the insert worksheet button. Okay, so you can click this and I can insert a new worksheet in the workbook. So under the sheet tab you have the status bar. Okay, right now there's nothing on display here, but when you have data in the worksheet and when you select that data, okay, the status bar can display a lot of information like average, count, sum, etc. and it can also be customized, and you can enable or disable all these options. You also have the different types of views here, and then the zoom option so that you can make the worksheet bigger or smaller by zooming in or out depending on the screen and on your preference. So those were the different screen elements in Microsoft Excel. Now let us learn about the different types of data that you can enter into an Excel sheet. So the first type are text values or your labels. Now those can consist of alphabets. Those are your characters from A to Z. You can have numbers and you can include special characters as well. Now you cannot perform mathematical operations on this type of data. And by default, when you enter text values, they are left aligned in a cell. Okay, what do you mean by left aligned? When you enter these values, they are much closer to the left margin of the cell. Okay, as you can see here in these examples, Ramesh, Hyundai i10, principal@gmail.com, all these are text values, and you can see that they are much closer to the left margin. That is, they are left aligned. Okay, so first Ramesh has only text value characters. In Hyundai i10, I've used characters along with numbers, but still they are treated as a text. And the last one, I've used special characters like @ and dot. I've entered an email address, and that too is treated as a text. Now the next type of data are numbers. Those are your digits from 0 to 9 and plus certain mathematical operators. Now calculations are performed on this type of data, and by default when you enter numbers in a cell, what happens? They are right aligned. Okay, they are much closer to the right margin. So as you can see here, 1 2 3 4 7 8.56, a decimal or floating point number, and then a date. So all these are your numeric data type. And the last type of data that you can use are formulas. Okay, now formulas are instructions which perform calculations on data. Remember, formulas always begin with an equal to sign. That's very important. Now there are certain types of formula that are predefined. Okay, they're predefined in Excel, and those are known as functions. So you can have functions and you can have manual formula. So I've put on two examples over there. So I've used a max function over there, which is going to calculate which is going to show you which is the bigger of the two values, or C1 and C2. So whichever is bigger, that will be displayed in the cell. The next example that I have given is a manual formula. So is equal to 4 plus 7. So 7 plus 4 is 11. So that will be displayed in the cell. So we'll learn more about the different types of data when we do more practical work on Excel.